Guys, welcome back to Iris After Hours, and here we are, fireside chat with Hugh Marquis here in Southern California. The Aussie has come all the way over. Hugh is on the board for Iris Global and serves Heidi and Roland in that capacity. Hugh, welcome to Iris After Hours.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Now, we met first in Pemba, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like about 2 or 3 years ago.
I think we'd sort of crossed paths a little bit.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of time, but a couple of years ago when I went on the board. So.
Yeah, and we just heard of this crazy Australian businessman who wants to help Iris, and everyone went, yeah, great, come on, we'll listen. And Hugh, you are a very dynamic guy. You are a businessman, but a godly man. And Hugh has just written his first book. And here it is. Take your framework and stick it up your pipeline. Come on, what a great title, hey? But this is Finding a New Normal in Business. So basically what this book is about, it's about learning, because business can often lend itself to greed, fear and corruption, but it's moving from the greed, fear and corruption of business into a model of caring, sharing and prosperity for all, not just for the individual, but actually. So Hugh, oh my gosh, we could do a whole podcast on this book, but I want to get back to this book in just a second, because it's we were talking all the way in the car about this book. It sounds amazing, and the whole concept of it. But tell us, how did you find out about Iris? Where did the connection with Heidi and Roland start?
I first met Heidi and Roland 9 years ago. Our church has had Heidi and Roland come in.
Oh yeah, Peter McHugh, hey.
That's right, yeah, Stairway in Melbourne.
Yeah, and that started out, that was a CCC church, wasn't it? Yeah, I used to go to Triple C church back in Sydney.
Oh, yeah. The Surfers Church.
Come on, yeah, exactly.
Isn't that amazing? You look at Triple C, it started out of a bunch of surfers.
Yep.
And they would have a meeting on a Sunday depending on whether the surf was up or not.
Yes.
If the surf was up, no church.
Exactly.
But that worked.
Get your priorities right.
Yeah. Rest.
Catching God's wave,
That's it.
Going with the wind of the Spirit, you heard of that?
Yeah. So Heidi and Roland have been coming out to our church for a number of years. So I've seen her minister and share, and it was, and then Pete said one year, we're going to go over to the Iris base.
Oh, I remember that. And so that was your first trip when you came over with Peter, because I remember hearing Peter was going over. I went, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, so that was 9 or 10 years ago or something like that. And we went over with a group of, there was Pete and Lynn, I think 12 others. And so we ended up getting time there because there's a hotel on the beach called the Nautilus.
Yes.
And it's a great hotel. I reckon the best location of any hotel in the world.
Oh, it's amazing, the Nautilus.
As we walked past them the first morning, we just felt an inkling that we needed to buy the hotel, give it to Iris, and turn it into a training venue. So,
as you do.
Well, why not? Because if you think of hospitality or a hotel, it has all of the hotel side of things, like the rooms and check-in and reception and accounting, but it has the restaurants, or it has the food and the service side, and then it has the rooms of the housekeeping and maintenance, and so you actually could train a whole lot of skills.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But in a working financial model that actually brought money back into the whole project as well.
Come on.
So Heidi got really excited about that idea, and we got very close to buying it, and it didn't happen. For the guy who was selling it to us went broke and all sorts of stuff.
This is a crazy story. Just the day before you were at the to close the deal, hey?
Yeah.
And then the bank took it over, you were negotiating with the bank, and then the bank went bankrupt.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
So that was put on hold for a while, but whilst we were there, we started building a closer relationship with Heidi and Roland, and had the privilege of Roland flying us on the plane out bush, so I didn't have to go for a 10-hour drive.
Oh, nice.
I got to go on the plane.
Come on, the Kodiak?
Yeah. And my wife was going on the drive, but they pulled her off that and put her on the plane, and Heidi said, I've got a surprise for you up at the airport, which was really good because we got to fly in there, and it was a whole bunch of
And so the surprise was your wife going on the plane with you. Come on, Heidi. Really I love that.
So Heidi does what she does. Mm-hmm. She always makes people feel important, no matter where they are or what they do. Yeah. Doesn't matter whether they've got everything or got nothing. both highly enroll and make sure people feel important.
Yeah.
So we were very blessed from that. And I've been back to Iris now, I don't know, 5 times I think since then. So sort of every other year back into Mozambique.
Come on. And how did you end up coming on the board?
Started off for the Australian board.
Okay, yeah.
But which was really a fundraising or a facility to raise money, so people could donate into it. So we were over, and 2 years ago, had the Irish family group thing on. And we were just,
in Pemba.
Yeah, in Pemba. So everybody gathered. It was a great time. And we were sitting there, and Heidi had asked me a few weeks earlier if I'd come on as an advisor to the board. And so normally there's a process to be an advisor on the board, and we thought that would be great. She'd asked us when we first arrived if we would talk to the Bible students, so we shared with the Bible students, both my wife and I, and then I was meant to be sharing at the Harvest School, and I got a message about 9:45. I was meant to be speaking at 10, that Heidi didn't want me to share anymore, but could I meet her at the visitors' tent? And I'm really looking forward to sharing at Harvest School, but we all went across a group over to Longo, over the island.
That's when we went to.
So we went over to Longo, and I think I was just getting grilled on whether, do we really want him on the board type thing. So fortunately, Jane was there, and she made me look really good. So, so it's not just me on the board; it's Jane and I on the board.
Oh,
so
good.
It's us together.
Oh, nice. Wow. And so, Hugh, how did you start out with your connection with business and God? Or where did God come into the picture first? Have you been a Christian all your life, or what happened?
No, I had no Christian upbringing either side of my family. I knew there was a God.
Yeah.
I just thought it was me. So I grew up very prideful. I made a lot of mistakes and did a lot of things wrong.
And were you doing business?
Still doing business, still flourishing.
Yeah.
We've done a bunch of different things. Mainly restaurant associated, so we had restaurants, hotels, bars, guest houses, and all of them did really well.
Yeah.
We were in Tassie in partnership with my parents. And
are you a Tassie boy?
No. I was brought up at Queenscliff, so in Melbourne, down the coast there. And we had a restaurant that was voted in 1991 Australia's most popular restaurant.
No way.
So, we had a whole bunch of successes.
Yeah.
But had a whole bunch of failures as well.
Yeah.
'Cause in that time, I had to come face to face with some of my own insecurities.
Yeah.
And
some of your own fear, corruption, and what's the other one? Fear,
greed.
Greed.
Yeah.
This is a personal testimony here.
It is. It is an absolute personal testimony. Yep. Had to come out with, because I thought, literally that I thought probably the way the world thinks, that there's a limited economy out there, and I lived in an economy that there's only just enough.
Wow,
but
that poverty mentality.
It's a poverty mentality.
Yeah.
It's when you say that there's a certain amount of pie, but if all the pieces of the pie have gone, there's nothing more. But that's not God's economy.
No.
God's economy is He owns the bakeries, He'll just bake more pie.
Wow.
It's not a problem.
Can we bake more pie? God will bake more pie. That's a t-shirt. Get that on a t-shirt and send it to me. God will bake more pie. But it's
a good t-shirt.
But it's so true, because that poverty mentality holds so many of us back, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's a limited. We get trapped in this box or whatever it is, confinement.
Yeah.
But there's not enough.
Well, that sort of mentality says, for me to win, you must lose.
Yeah.
And I don't think God wants that. I think He wants to flip that totally.
Wow, and this is the whole new concept for business in the kingdom, isn't it? Is that we can all prosper, and then the more we give, the more it'll multiply.
Yeah. But I don't think it's just for business.
Right.
I've titled my book for business, but it's not. It's for everything. Because if we live a generous lifestyle, and we are generous towards others, that keeps going around. It cycles up instead of cycling down. So,
explain that.
Well, if in business, I'll use a business analogy,
Yep.
I can help create people of means. It means that they've got more to give,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
in turn can create people of means.
Because they're not dependent anymore. Now they're creators of wealth, and they can share it.
Yeah. So which in turn creates more people of means, which adds into more people of means, which creates more it's an ongoing upward cycle.
Whoa.
You know, so you can only break poverty by attacking it, and you attack poverty with generosity.
Whoa. Another T-shirt right there. You attack poverty with generosity. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Come on. We're getting a lot of T-shirts on this.
You get a lot of T-shirts on this. We should sell them.
Yeah, we're going to done with the book. Okay, you get a T-shirt with the book.
Yeah.
So now Jane, when did Jane come onto the scene?
So
Because you must have had your kids young, because they're grown up now.
They are. We have 3 kids, so Brianne, Savannah and Owen. 3 wonderful kids, they're great. I met Jane when I was 21, and Jane was 24. She wasn't
walking with the Lord?
She wasn't walking with the Lord. So we came to the Lord 27. We actually came to the Lord on the same day. It's a funny story all on its own.
Wow. Give us a short version.
Okay, short version. We went to a business conference. We were involved in a network marketing business, the Amway business.
Amway? Yeah, my mum used to sell Amway.
Yeah.
LOC, mate. Liquid Organic Concentrate. It's good for the skin, mate.
It's good for the skin, good for everything. You could eat it.
I think I said underarm.
Yeah.
Toys. I used to have the kids' toys. I had an Amazon. Not Amazon. I'm saying Amazon. Amazon's the new Amway. But I used to have a dinosaur sponge thing that I'd wash in the bath, and it was a gift from. Pretty sure it's a gift from Amway.
You got to do what you got to do.
Come on.
But what was part of what they did is every 6 months they would have a meeting where they gathered all the people together. But on the Sunday morning they had a non-denominational church service.
No way.
So my brother says, "Hey, why don't you come to the church service?" And I said,
For Amway?
"Yeah."
What? This is crazy.
And I said, "No, I don't need your God." Remember I said I knew there was a God, I just thought it was me. And he said, "Well, all the leaders are going to be there and all the people making money." Oh, okay, well I better come. So we went, and all these people that had been doing well had told their story. And the common thread was Jesus.
No
and
way.
at the end, the guy gets up and says, typical evangelist, right? He says, "So if your heart's beating and your palms are sweaty, come down the front. Jesus wants to meet you." Now, my heart was somewhere out here, and I've got liquid running out of my hands.
No!
But I do the thing.
So the Holy Spirit was on you.
Yeah. So
It was your time. It was your day.
But I left. I said, "Okay."
Was your wife there? Was
Yeah,
Jane there?
she left as well. She came with me. She left. Right, we both walked out of the place. Said, "God's calling."
Hard nut
We
Australians, I'm just saying, okay?
Yeah. 6 months later, they've got another one of these. Now, at that time, we had people in our organisation. So we invite them along, but I'm telling them what's happening. They're going to talk, this is going to be amazing, and then this guy's going to do this thing, and, but we're not going to go down the front, so we're going to sit at the back of this auditorium, because when he does that, we'll just leave. So I'm inviting people to come to a church service to hear about Jesus. Anyway, so we get there.
That's hilarious.
We get there, they go through the stuff, they tell the stories, they get up and they do an altar call at the end, and I get up to leave. Jane gets up to leave with me. We're at the back room. Now, I don't know what happened next, but I'm standing at the front. I was leaving. I was going out the back door.
Oh, my God.
And I looked to my right, and Jane's standing next to me. And she says she knows exactly what was happening. She was picked up by 2, she says, angels, and she was carried down to the front and put at the front.
Oh, my gosh.
So we came to the Lord on the same day through a business conference.
Oh, my gosh. That is crazy. Business is just so over you, isn't it? Even how you got saved.
Yeah.
And God speaking to you for the first time. And then you got, oh my gosh, this is a crazy story. No wonder business is just, and faith and all of it's just an organic thing for you.
It's just a bubbling over.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So what happened? How did life radically change after that?
Yeah. I became a Christian. Everything became perfect. We became really, really wealthy. No, that's not what happened. I became a Christian and everything turned on its head. Because at that point there was stuff that I'd done prior in my marriage. I'd fallen in marriage, had an affair. But Jane hadn't known about it at that stage. I became a Christian and God said, "You need to tell her." And so as a new Christian, a new believer, I told them what had happened, had stopped and finished. And it shows just how much God had touched Jane already at that stage. because we walked through, she forgave me, but we had to walk through a healing process and to do some stuff through that. So it was tough. It was hard because you're sitting there going, well, your life's going to get a whole lot better. But it didn't. It got worse first because I had to deal with my own healing inside. I had to deal with my own frailty, the mistakes I'd made. Jane I describe as an angel in a woman's suit. She's amazing.
Wow.
So she's the one that's taught me what forgiveness looks like. Wow. And how that looks and what that actually means.
Oh my gosh, yeah, on the deepest level.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And come February, we've been married 33 years. So.
Oh, come on. That's amazing. Wow. Wow. Because the truth, you'll know the truth.
Yeah.
And then the truth will set you free.
Yeah. It doesn't say there's a little bit of pain in the process.
Things could look a lot worse before that
Yeah.
freedom comes, But that's, what a relief though, hey?
Yeah.
To get that off your chest and to come clean and...
Yeah.
And so what happened in terms of your business, how you did business after you became a Christian? Did that change? Did what's in here start happening then, or was this later?
I think some of it had happened before.
Okay.
Some of it had happened innately. Because the truth about God's principles is that they work whether you're a believer or whether you're not.
Wow. Come on.
So his principles work for everybody.
Yeah.
The saved and the unsaved.
Yeah.
So we knew some of it. And then the experiences changed. We were in Tassie, came back, we did some things. Then he gave me a dream to start Network Neighbourhood, which is a tech company. And we talk about it in the book. And it was a dream that every student going to school would have an electronic device they could do their lessons on, and they could actually study and learn from that. And he gave me a 15-year plan.
Is this before iPads?
This is before iPads.
Whoa,
this is 1999.
Come on, you can
1998.
You can take Apple to court.
Yeah.
They stole your idea, mate.
Yeah, I just didn't have a patent on it. Right? 1998. Right, this is before the Y2K, with a dream of changing the way we do education. That we can make it all online, have tablets, and it wouldn't be a teacher sitting at the front of a class, but it'd be interactive. And we started a business based on that. We said, well, somebody's going to make these devices, but we need the infrastructure on the back end.
Yeah.
How do you connect all of these things to a network? How do you secure it? And we started working through all of that. But he'd given a picture of how to build that business. And we started the business. It was very funny because I wrote a paper to the government, Victorian state government, and said, you're really going to need to do something. This sort of thing is going to come. And they all thought I was crazy.
Wow.
They thought I was nuts. But 8 months later, a tender came out to start looking after computers in schools. But it was the paper that I'd written to the government, even with my spelling mistakes. And for people who know me, my spelling is bad. My theory was in school I didn't need to learn to spell because someone was going to invent a machine that would do spell checks. I knew that from when I was young.
You're prophetic too. Yeah. This guy's prophetic.
So, and then we started off the company with myself, and I had a business partner at the time, and 5 techs. We started building that out and what that could look like. And we kept growing. We kept getting more schools. We didn't spend any money on advertising the business because our clients liked what we did and they just kept growing.
Word of mouth.
Yeah. 6 or 7 years into the business, I felt that my partner, well, he didn't want to grow it anymore. He just wanted to keep it stable. It was doing okay. I wanted to continue to grow it. And I was a bit frustrated, and I prayed and thought, I want to buy him out, and I want to pay this amount of money. And I walked into Stairway's business group, and there was a prophetic guy called Peter Klomp. Now, he set up the prayer breakfast for Parliament House in Australia.
Wow.
Peter's a great guy. And I walked into the room for the business group, and he looks at me and he says, you asked God 2 questions this morning. He said, you know what you need to do, and you know how much money you need to pay. That's what he said. I got up, walked out of the room.
Oh my gosh, how did that make you feel?
Well, I got out of the room. I rang Jane and said, I'm going to buy the business today from our partner. She said, okay. I told her how much, and she said, that's everything we've got in the bank. I I said, yeah, I know. And I said, that's what God said to do. We need to bless him with everything and we'll take the business. She said, okay then. So I rang my partner.
What a wife, mate. Come on.
I rang my partner and told him. He said, yep, done, sealed. So we bought it in 5 minutes. And then I realised that I actually spent all the money the business had in the bank as well. So the next 6 months was a little torrid because we had no cash.
No cash flow. No cash, no cash flow.
We had cash flow, but no cash.
Right.
So we had to start building cash reserves again. But from that time, it grew 100% a year on year for the next 6 years.
No. Oh my gosh. So that money came back pretty quick.
Yeah. It was a great return on investment. So it was good.
Obedience to the Lord. Come on.
So it's an interesting journey in building business, because the thing that I've found, it's got to be beyond you. So if you're building a business just because you want a house or a car or a boat or whatever, it's okay to have those things, but it needs to get beyond that.
Yeah.
For it to become real. It's what are you going to do with your business that's going to give back to society? What are you going to do to add to people's worlds? And I truly believe the purpose of business is to provide for the whole of society.
Whoa.
And if we can get our heads around
Come on,
that...
there's a t-shirt right there. The purpose of business is to provide for the whole of society.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's not just one little segment. It's across the board. Could you imagine what it would be like? You get a bunch of business guys together and they talk about a dream. The Irish University has a dream of getting that built and in place, and it's
Oh yeah, in Pemba, the Irish University in Pemba, yeah.
But you get a bunch of business guys around, get Heidi and Roland to come and talk about the dream of what they want to do, where they're going to educate the next level of people through Mozambique. They're going to be the next lot of leaders in the country.
Yeah.
They're going to help form what the country looks like.
Yeah.
And that's going to come out of that university. Do you reckon you get those group of people together and they come with a common vision? It's going to be pretty easy raising however $1 million, whatever $1 million it's going to cost to build that university.
Yeah.
But that's going to leave a legacy that changes a nation and could possibly change other African nations and other parts of the world from it.
Exactly.
But you get people together around a common vision, anything can happen. But that becomes beyond them.
Come on.
So their businesses are going to be used to fund something else.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it spirals.
It spirals up.
Yeah. Now, Hugh, for someone like me, business has these rules, like there's some pretty hard and fast rules in business. Like it needs to make money, it needs to be profitable, all these things.
Sure.
And yet, there's some pretty hard and fast rules with walking with God too. You know what I mean? In terms of like you've got to be honest, you've got to care, you've got to, look after everyone, not just put your own interests first.
Yeah.
So how do these two? Are they conflicting worlds, or can they come together? Is this what this book's about, or how do you walk as a faith-filled Christian in generosity and maintain these business rules as well?
Well, first of that, God's principles override man's principles.
Come on.
So
Okay, there you go.
Man's principles on building business is built, I believe, around greed, fear and corruption,
Right.
which I call pride.
Right. Whoa, come on.
God's principles are around caring, sharing and prosperity for all, which I call righteousness.
Whoa, that needs to go on a t-shirt.
It's a long t-shirt.
Yeah, maybe front and back. Have pride on the front and what is it? Kingdom on the back.
Yeah. And so in building, the
Righteousness on the back.
Yeah.
Pride on the front.
The Bible has a brilliant model all the way through it on how to build a business.
Really?
What you do with money, how you treat your staff, how you treat your suppliers, how you treat your competition. It's all in the Bible. It's all there, and the truths are there if you go searching for them.
Wow.
But they're not necessarily written out in plain English.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily talked or preached about on a Sunday morning.
So you've got to go find
You've got to
it.
go find it.
And you did that?
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
I feel that we've done that. We didn't get it all right. We still made mistakes in business.
Yeah.
And you will make mistakes in business.
Yeah.
But you learn from those.
And you go back and try and fix those up if you can, and maintain a relationship.
Yeah.
And
People will make mistakes. People will treat people the wrong way. But if you can look at it the other way and say, well, how would Jesus run a business? He got angry one time.
whoa.
He got angry at the money changers at the temple. Not because they were changing money or doing business at the temple, but because they were using dishonest ways.
Yeah.
He didn't like the discrepancy that was there. So Jesus calls for integrity in business. He calls for us to do things, the right thing at the right time, for the right reasons. At all times.
Oh, the right thing at the right time for the right reasons.
Yeah. So don't cheat on your taxes. Pay your taxes.
Come on, hear that? Hey, now that's a t-shirt. That's a controversial t-shirt right there. Don't cheat on your taxes. Pay it, and on the front, pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Because Jesus said it, didn't he?
He said to it.
Render what does to Caesar unto Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can change the way you look at doing that. But the most important for me was, how do we deal with people?
Yeah,
Because
that's
you
the
know,
huge factor,
how
isn't
do you
it?
deal with staff?
Because is there a discrepancy between like family and business? Because you know how the kingdom is like family. Do you try to create family within the business too?
Well, I think Abraham did a very good model on business. He went out and looked at his 300 slaves and warriors.
Yeah.
He called them family. But he looked into the family and he said, what strengths do my family have? And he found what strengths they had, and they developed 7 income streams out of those strengths. So he developed business out of family. So I think business is family, families, business, kingdom. And
In a priority.
yeah.
So say it again. Family, families, business,
and
kingdom.
Yeah.
Right.
So the business has to come out of building families.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Do you unpack that in here a bit?
I'm not sure if
Or
I unpack that. That might
is
be
that
book number 2.
Book 2, watch out. It's
That might
coming.
be book number 2.
Come on.
It's stuff that keeps getting revealed since I've written that one.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, so what's happening now with you with this book? How do I get this book?
Well, we've actually just put the book out.
Okay.
So it's been out
Just this year?
2 weeks ago. It went into print 2 weeks ago.
Is that all?
Yeah.
This is like fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hot off the press.
It's an interesting journey writing a book. It's a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah.
And I had to go through a lot of, again, inner searching and stuff as we went through it. But so it's been out only a couple of weeks. We were very blessed. Heidi wrote a great endorsement in the book for me. We hope it's going to change a lot of people's lives, not just in business, but for families. You know, government, churches. There's some truths in there that we bring to the forefront. And obviously by the title you can tell I'm an Aussie. I don't mind pushing a little bit. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
okay. We want to shake things up.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
But since I wrote that, I was in Brazil, and we were speaking at an economic summit over there. And the guys were all talking, there was economists and very well-educated people. And I didn't go to university, so I didn't have a university degree. And I'm speaking after lunch, and they're talking about GDP and, you know, gross domestic product of nations and how things are done. And as I was having lunch, I felt the Lord say to me, well, what if GDP means something different? Now I'm speaking first up after lunch, and I said, okay, well, what does it mean? He said, well, first of all, I don't want you to talk on the slides you prepared, and so I'm going to give you a new message. Okay.
Oh my gosh, come on, God.
And I go, fine, so what does it mean? He said, GDP stands for God's desired purpose. And he said, what if the measurement of a nation was how it measures up to where I want the nation to be?
Oh my goodness.
The economy of a nation is measured on God's desired purpose. And for me, that was just a revelation of being able to look at a nation and its people in a totally different light.
Yeah. Because it's really looking at the whole.
Yeah.
Like what is good, not just for me and my business, but what's good for this whole country, this whole nation, this whole people group.
And Joseph's a really good example of that. He worked for someone else. He worked in Egypt, but he looked for the whole nation and how he could be. He saw that there was a famine coming, and he brought stuff into the storehouse so that all of Egypt survived the famine. He looked for the wealth of the nation.
Yeah.
So we've got biblical principles already in play around that.
Yeah. Wow. Because it's a tough one for people. I mean, because business, everyone needs to survive. Everyone needs to have a wage. I mean, we need income.
Yep.
Otherwise, we're dependent on other people,
Yep.
and we're a burden. But if we, like you said, we can make our own means and then share that, it's good for everybody.
Yeah.
Will these principles are right from the smallest business right through to the biggest
I think so.
business?
And you can take business out and say, is it good for family? Yep. Is it good for a church? Yes. Is it good for a government? Yes. Is it good for the arts? Yes.
Yeah, right.
I think so. I think God's principles apply across all spheres of influence.
Right. Oh my gosh. So for someone like me, say for example, who I'm probably less on the business side and more on the artistic side, is there anything? What about are there things like in business that you can't change, or does everything go upside down with God? Like if you're learning how to do business, or you have a startup company.
Yeah, so if you have a startup, it still comes down to the same things. You know, what is the vision? What are you actually trying to achieve? What are you going to do with it? That's no different from having a personal vision of what I want to do for the next year in my life, in a family. So the principles, that's why I say they apply across everything.
Yeah.
It is focused on business because that's my background.
Yeah.
And my future.
And your legacy.
Yeah.
And your core and your vocational calling.
Yeah. Yet in saying that, it applies in all of those things.
Yeah.
Like when you're looking at a family situation, like at the end of chapter 2, I think at the end of chapter 2, I've got a comparison sheet on humility. What does being humble really mean?
Wow.
And it takes the thing between being prideful and humble. And it does a comparison. Now, the first time I actually did that, I sat in the corner and thought, I thought I was better than that. But,
I'm preaching to myself here.
I found there were so many things that I still had the problems of the pride running in there.
Yeah.
And I had to work on getting rid of some of that and becoming more humble. And humble is just honouring other people above yourself. How can you complete someone else rather than compete with them? So,
how can you complete someone else rather than compete? Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a great T-shirt, but Jane, when I actually wrote that, it's out in the notes and it's in the book there. Jane said, do you know the difference between the word compete and complete is one letter? L. She said, that stands for love. When you love someone, you complete them.
Wow.
When you don't, you compete with them. And I went, honey, I'm using that in the book.
That's so cool.
So, yeah, because we can always look for the best in someone and make them better.
Yeah.
We don't need to be dragging people down. And
because that's the mentality, isn't it? That I need to drag someone else down so I can get on top, which is a sort of a normal business model, isn't it?
But that comes back to our original thought of a poverty mentality.
Exactly.
But if you come to a kingdom economy where there's more than enough,
there's going to be,
I'm going to help someone else win all the time.
Hugh, how do we change? How do we get out of this poverty mindset? Did you have a poverty mindset ever?
I don't think so.
No, you've never had to fight that battle.
No. But I think it's just seeing God for how big that He is.
Yeah.
But Heidi is the greatest example for walking out of that.
Oh my gosh.
You know, the greatest
Heidi's
servant.
amazing like that. She's the most generous person I've ever met.
When she talks about love's got to look like something, yeah, there's got to be an action behind the love.
Yeah.
But Heidi, her generosity of time, like she walks outside of time. We get that? We all know that?
Whoa.
But her time, that every person that Heidi meets is important. Every person.
So true.
And you never walk away, and Roland, you never walk away from either of them feeling less.
No.
You always come out invigorated, empowered, impassioned, and going, yeah, I can take on the world.
Yeah, absolutely. It's true.
They're there, and that's the sort of thing that I think breaks the poverty mentality. Leaders like Heidi and Roland, what they do, how they serve, how they've humbled themselves, how they've given of themselves.
Yeah.
And I could guess that at times it wouldn't have been financially easy for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as people learn that humility and learn to serve others and bring the gold out in others, and the blessings will come from that. So yeah, but you know they've been great people and to show the examples of how that works.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Gosh, so where can we get the book?
It's available on Amazon.
Oh, Amazon, come on.
Amazon and some of the other things in the States. Amazon's the easiest way
Is
to
it on,
describe it.
it's not on Audible yet?
Not on Audible yet. I've been asked for it to be on Audible. It's both digital copy and paper copy. So, and I don't know how Amazon does that. You know, they've got a print on demand button there, and it gets people buy it, and it gets sent to them. And I get that.
It's like magic.
Yeah, it's just like magic. It's great. That's how technology has changed. You know,
Yeah.
Before you had to buy, I'm going to print 5,000 copies and fill up my garage.
Yeah, and store them.
And then hope somebody's going to buy one.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So it's very simple. I've been asked to put it on Audible, but I'm just debating whether people say no. You should use your own voice here. People don't want to hear my voice. They don't want to find someone with a good speaking voice.
Yeah, come on. No,
So it's available both on the US store and in other stores, and it's currently being translated into 3 other languages. So it's been translated into Portuguese, which is really good for
come
us.
on.
Spanish and Hungarian.
Come on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
So, Hugh, what advice would you have for any young believers who are starting to go into the business world? Seeing from with your hindsight, what would your advice be?
business
Knowing this now.
Business is a wonderful, wonderful mission field, right? That you can empower and impact more people through business than even a lot of churches.
Wow.
I love the local church. Don't mishear that. Absolutely love the local church. But in business, a local church might get somebody 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 hours a week. But in business, they're there for 50, 60, 70 hours a week. So who's having the most impact on that? So if you can help people understand that God loves business
Yeah.
and God wants to be in those businesses, you can have a wider impact from that. And I love the mission work, but not all mission work is going to Mozambique or
Yeah.
going to India or Nepal or Australia or America. Some of the mission field is going into businesses. And you can use your gifts and the skills and talents that you've got in a business setting to lead people to the Lord.
Yeah. And what do you think about business and missions? Have you thought about that much? About training or anything like that in like this? Is this a good book for missionaries?
It's got some really good things in there for missionaries. Yeah. There's a couple of thoughts I've had since writing that on just other ways, like there are 8 ways of making money that will fund missions.
Right.
And they're just very simple things. We shouldn't cover that now, but there are different ways that people can fund missions as well. And one of them is business.
Yes.
It's a legitimate way. That's how we funded all of our own missions. We had business. It paid for it. It paid for things. So we didn't ask people for money.
Yeah.
We funded everything ourselves, all the stuff that we were doing, whether it be fighting human trafficking in Cambodia or building a forestry business which employs people and changes finances in Cambodia and different places that we've gone and travelled around the world. So,
And sometimes you can't get into a country as a missionary unless you are a businessman,
absolutely.
a business person.
Yeah. Most countries don't have a barrier for a business person going in,
Yeah.
which means you get a seat at the table and you sit and talk. I pinch myself at some of the countries we've been invited into because of business and the access we get at the highest levels of government.
Wow.
And,
Whereas if you came as a minister of
yeah,
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
he'll probably be denied and not even given access.
yeah. But and then over a period of time, you get to share that with them.
Yeah.
They say,
you-
well, why does this work? Well, I'm a follower of Jesus and I believe this is his plan.
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell me more about that? Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just opening a door for the question to be answered.
Wow.
Heidi says love's got to look like something. So why couldn't it be love serving in a business realm, helping people be their best?
Yeah. And then with the success of the business, you get to bless
Absolutely.
and pour back into society and see his kingdom come in practical ways.
Yep. Yeah. And see, there's a lot of things I hear of companies now. They call it CSR, corporate social responsibility. And that's a wonderful thing. But you hear businesses that go, oh, well, we're now giving X amount of money to this charity. Yet their staff haven't had a pay rise for 3 years.
Right.
Well, that's not being responsible for their staff. They've got to make sure that their staff are looked after,
Yeah.
as well as the corporate social responsibility.
Yeah.
So, you know, they've all got to go together.
It's really holistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
This approach. The gospel is holistic.
Yeah.
That it's like with Heidi and Roland, you feel good when you come away from
Absolutely.
meeting with them. It's like
Every time.
yeah, everyone's blessed. So it's your staff you're looking after.
Yeah.
And it only says that in the Bible, doesn't it? Look after your slaves, treat them well.
Yeah.
Well, not that staff are slaves, but there's sort of a bit like that.
Yeah, just change the word.
Yeah, exactly. It's a modern adaptation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. And then look after the community and
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we're called to look after the community. Yeah.
Well, Hugh, I really would love you to pray over us and to pray for a lot of us who don't have the full kingdom mindset yet. They might be struggling with the poverty mindset and the limitations that have come in for whatever, putting God in a box or how much there is, because I feel like we need to expand as the believers, as the church, as the body. We need to expand, and this is part of getting hold of this is part of the expansion in our vision.
Yeah.
Just one quick question before we do that. How important is vision?
Crucial. Absolutely crucial. It says, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Right.
Right. And then in Habakkuk 2:2, it says, write your vision and make it plain, so that those who follow can run to it, and though it tarries, it will not tarry. I thought that was a contradiction. They're actually two different words. But it says the vision is important. It has to be clear so that people can follow to it.
Yeah. Wow. So this is really tied together then, isn't it, with the poverty because if you've got the poverty mentality, the vision, that's going to affect the vision, isn't it?
Yep.
So I feel like what we need to pray for is the breaking of this poverty mentality so we can get the proper vision we need to have, because without that we can't get there, and the poverty mentality is stopping or constricting the vision.
Yep. Yep.
I know this is a bit weird, but I feel, can you lay hands on me in proxy for everyone out there?
I'd love to.
Because I feel like I need to break this poverty mentality off myself.
Father, I thank you.
Whoa.
I thank you for the time that we've had together.
Jesus.
And Father, I pray and lift up all the people that are watching this podcast and those that may see it at a time in the future. Father, that your blessing would come upon them. And Father, even as it says in Chronicles, when God was having a conversation with Solomon, he said, Solomon, what can I give you? And Solomon replied, he said, Lord, would you give me wisdom and knowledge? And then the Lord replied to Solomon, he said, I will give you wisdom and knowledge, but you have not asked for financial blessing, you have not asked for health, you have not asked for your relatives to be healed. You have only asked for those things, but I will give you the other things as well.
Whoa.
So Father, I pray for wisdom and knowledge for every person here.
Yes, God.
Wisdom and knowledge that would come from heaven. And Father, with the authority that you have given me, and the keys that you have given me, Lord, I unlock the storehouse of creativity in heaven. That it would come out upon your people, Father.
Yes, God.
Lord, that they would know that the heavenly economy, the kingdom economy, is one where there is more than enough.
Yes.
Lord, you would help change mindsets.
Yes.
There would be more than enough. Father, they would not be restricted by limited thinking, but they would walk into an abundance thinking, an abundance mentality, a mentality where, Lord, you provide for the needs in every circumstance. Father, we thank you for your love and grace for your people. Lord, and I pray blessing upon them. I pray that they would prosper in all things. They would prosper in their finances.
Yes,
they would
God.
prosper in their marriages.
Come
they
on.
would prosper in their health. They
Wow.
would prosper in relationships with their children. They would prosper in the workplaces. They would prosper in the words out of their mouth. Father, I thank you that at all times you are glorious and you are good. In Jesus' name.
Whoa. Amen. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Wow. Thank you. Whoa. Ah, needed that. Yes. That's wow. So guys, get this book on Amazon. Hugh, I've got 3 questions I have to ask you because I do ask it there.
Yep.
I try to ask it all my podcast guests. Sometimes I forget. But what is your favourite movie?
Blindside.
Oh, yeah, with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really amazing film.
Yeah.
It's-
She saw the gold in that young man and brought it out in.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that was a great film.
Yeah.
I actually bought that movie.
I cried for days on that film.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I love it. And Hugh, do you have a favourite sound?
Yeah. I listened to a friend this afternoon say he loved the violin. I love the sound of a violin being played well. But I think there's an even nicer sound, and it's the sound of running water from a fountain.
Oh, yeah, I love that. There's something so calming about it, isn't it? Yeah, I was at my hotel the other day because of the house, and it's this long pond just right in front of the hotel on the street, but it had several different little fountains just drip running water in all of them. And I felt like I was back in like King David's palace or something, and I was just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just the sound of, because there was multiple little running, and it was just so peaceful and so calming. It was just...
And then there's another thing on sound, which didn't have a sound. I was in Kansas City yesterday, and it snowed about 6 inches. There was a blanket of snow over everything, but you couldn't hear anything. It was a deadening of sound, and it was just the most peaceful thing that I've ever experienced. Sort of walking outside, and there's nothing. There was no sound. Strange for a favourite sound. Yeah.
No, I know. I lived in Running Springs up in the mountains for a while here, and going out after it snowed or just it's been snowing for a while. I know that everything's just deadened and it's just like this stillness and quietness, and the snow's just gently falling. I love it.
Whoa. And your third question?
When it's all said and done, and life on earth for Hugh is over, what do you want to hear Jesus say to you when you enter through the pearly gates?
This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased.
Come on. Hugh, thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you for pouring out your life for Heidi and Roland, pouring out your life into this book and everything you've learned to help all of us, to help many, many people to bring God's kingdom. And I feel like this book is going to have a huge impact in bringing the kingdom of heaven into this earth, and how just bringing Jesus everywhere through business. And I just got that vision, isn't it? It's just, if business could just be such a blessing to everybody and not cutthroat and not, God's blessing will be on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has to prosper.
Yeah.
Because if God blesses it, that's what we want, God's blessing on everything. Wow. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, so guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Iris After Hours. And we will be back very shortly with another one. And leave some comments below, download the app, and we will see you next time on Iris After Hours. Ciao. This podcast is presented by Iris Global. For more information or to support the work of Iris Global, please visit us online at irisglobal.org.
Or to speak to someone at Iris Global, call our office at 530-255-2077.
Iris Global is an international Christian mission and relief organisation with a focus on working amongst the poorest of the poor and those most in need.
We hope this podcast has inspired your journey. Thanks for joining us for Iris After Hours.